Hey guys, Jerry Work from ProfitDig here. Today I want to demonstrate the projects section of the ProfitDig application. Currently we're looking at the dashboard, but on the left-hand menu you see there is a section called Projects. By default, clicking the Projects button will take you to a screen with every project you've ever set up. But underneath that, you see several subsections, and these are different statuses of your projects. Unsubmitted is one that you are still working on, but have not submitted to the client yet. Submitted means you've submitted it to the client, but are still waiting for an answer. Awarded is a bid that you've won and then lost, completed, etc. These allow you to sort of track what has happened to your bids, especially for the ones that you've lost. Once you have a few of those, maybe you can look back and sort of see, why did you lose those jobs? Is there some common denominator or something you need to do differently so you win some more of those? So currently we have nothing in the unsubmitted section. Well, I did just set up a test project a few minutes ago. But I'm going to go into the submitted section here. You see these are ones we've set up that have been submitted, but we don't know if we have won those jobs or not. So to create a new project, click Add Project, give it an identifier, whatever you need to use to remember what it is. And if you want to, you can go ahead and type in an address, city, state, etc. That is not required for creating the project initially. You also have a start date and end date or completion date. By default, completion date is the same as start date. That's not going to be the case. So we'll just select something in the future and click submit. So now we have a project. By default, that's all there is. There's nothing in this project yet. It doesn't have any bids or anything like that. The project screen itself divides into a few subsections or tabs. Info is the information that we just typed into the project. If we need to change something there, we can. This tab is also where you can set the status of a project, lost, completed, etc. Users is if you have other users of the ProfitDig application who are going to be setting up bids or tracking costs or any of that kind of thing. You can add those users to the project on this screen. Change orders will be any change orders. Since this is a brand new project, there's none of that. Cost, we don't have any cost yet. Notes, you can type notes about a project, and documents, you can upload any documents for the project. So back on bids, you can't submit a project until you have a bid. So a project and a bid are not the same thing, at least in the ProfitDig system. A project is your broader umbrella for all the information about a project, whereas a bid is the actual document you submit to your customer to win the job. So I'm not going to go into creating a new bid from scratch at this point. We'll look at that in another video, but I'm going to show you a super quick way to do this. We actually demonstrated this on yesterday's video, but I want to talk a little more about it. Let's say you do a lot of very similar jobs, and so you already have some bids set up that are very similar to what you will need for the job you're bidding on now. Well, instead of creating that thing from scratch, and we'll look at another one that's not a very good example. Okay, say this is a bid that's very similar to a job you're bidding on right now. Well, I can just create a clone of this bid and add it to the project I just created. Clone. And now if I go back to projects, there it is. I already have a bid for this project. Now I would need to go back in here and edit the line items as appropriate, or remove or add new line items, whatever I needed to do to make sure that it was exactly correct for this specific project. But as you can see, by doing that, I've saved myself a ton of time from having to type out all this manually every time. So that is a quick rundown of the project's screen. If you've recorded any costs, it'll show up here. We don't have anything with any recorded costs at this point. So that's the basics of it. As you see, it's really simple and quick to set up a project. And then if you use the cloning feature, you can literally add a bid in 1 minute. So that is it for today. I invite you to check us out online at ProfitDig.com or on YouTube at youtube.com/ProfitDig, where we post a ton of videos about using ProfitDig or just running a successful construction company in general. So I'm Jerry Work, and we'll see you next time.